Hi everyone, I am the Sarcastic Sloth, and welcome to my channel. So today we're going to be talking about James Charles's most recent controversy. We're also going to be talking about Rich Lux. He's done a video on this particular issue, which I feel like needs to be sort of highlighted a bit. It's a bit off in terms of how he's approached things, in my view, this is anyway. But yeah, for those of you who aren't aware of the James Charles situation, he's put himself in a lot of trouble recently because he has been found to be messaging someone who is underage, a 16-year-old lad. He claimed that he didn't know he was 16 and that he was told he was 18. However, if you go onto the lad's TikTok, I'll pop it by here, it actually states that he's 16 immediately straight off the bat. This is also a little bit of a reoccurring theme as well, because you'll remember in terms of Dramageddon, Tati's Bi Sister video, and around that time there were a lot of rumours of this kind of conduct, and then there have been people coming out every now and again. It seems like every few months some poor lad comes out and he says that this is my experience of James Charles talking to me as an underage person in a inappropriate way, and then that kid gets hounded off the internet and we never hear from them again. That's sort of an abridged version of what's gone on. I wasn't actually going to do a video on this subject just purely because so many people have covered it, and I felt there's people who are maybe in better positions to cover it as well, who, you know, maybe have a bit more experience in that kind of area than myself. But I wanted to sort of tackle Rich Lux's position on all of this. So with all of that being said and the groundwork being laid, let's crack on. So as per usual, everything I'm going to be saying today are my own thoughts and opinions on the topic, and if you do not like that, ta-ra! Rich Lux, over the course of the last week, has done a lot of videos on James Charles and the James Charles situation, which, as he's a drama channel, that is no big surprise really. But I feel like he's coming at things with a little bit of a weird tact, covering the subjects that we do and having sort of the same circle, I guess you could say. It's all within the drama community somewhat. Obviously, his tweets are going to pop up on my feed every now and again. The thing I noticed that he's been posting out over the last couple of days, which I found quite strange, is his insistence to keep the same energy, to the point where he's saying in capitals, "keep the same energy!" exclamation point. And then there was this other tweet that he did, this was on February 27th. "Keep the same energy. Y'all ran Shane Dawson off the internet for stuff in the past, but James Charles gets in another drama and silence. But keep the same energy, just saying keep the same energy, lol." Okay, so I don't know, I mean there's like a lot of hidden messages there, but I think he might want us to keep the same energy from his perspective at least. So what is he meaning there? So it's his insistence in his video, his latest video, James Charles Exposed, that basically James Charles has been able to, in his eyes anyway, sort of get away with this whole situation scot-free. Like, no one's coming for James Charles the same way that people came for Jeffree and Shane. Now, we all know, and it is pretty common knowledge, what Rich Lux's alliances, let's say, are in regards to Jeffree Star and also Shane Dawson, seeing as Shane Dawson is attached to Jeffree in regards to the conspiracy palette and whatnot. It just seems like he's trying to like level the playing field and somewhat go for an angle where it's like, well, you know, Jeffree was right about this in Dramageddon 2, you know, he tried to warn everyone about James Charles, and so did Shane, you know, evidently, from what we found out from Carmageddon. But you guys didn't listen, just keep the same energy. If you're going to run him off the internet, which he hasn't been run off the internet, let's just like sort of get that out of the way. He's doing alright, you know, I don't think he's going to be ending up destitute anytime soon. But, you know, with James Charles, it's like this insistence that he keeps bringing on that the same energy isn't being kept. Like, people aren't outraged or people aren't disgusted by this. And in the video itself, he actually goes through this thing where he says, if this was Jeffree Star, or if this was Shane Dawson, or if this was David Dobrik, or if this was Trisha Paytas, or if this was Nikita Dragun, or this was Patrick Star, there'd be bloody murder. He'd be cancelled and all of this. And then he also goes on to imply that the reason why that hasn't been the same for James Charles, he says, I smell a little bit of white privilege. I don't know if you're aware of this, Rich, if you happen to be watching. I do know that sometimes you watch stuff with your own name in it. I don't know if you realise four of the people that you named in that little run through of supposedly cancelled YouTubers, the only one I think that you could even argue as well, by the way, who is cancelled at this point in time, is Shane Dawson, but he sort of accepted that cancellation. Everyone else doesn't accept their cancellations, and that's why they remain uncancelled. In fact, the word cancelled, in my view, is just ridiculous, because cancelled is like definitive to me. It means they are no more. The career is no more. If you're able to make money off what you've been doing this entire time, then it's no more than an inconvenience, let alone a cancellation. But the point I was going to get to was, these people are white that you're saying, apart from Nikita Dragon and Patrick Star, all of those people were white that you've decided to throw in there. I'm not saying that James Charles hasn't benefited from some white privilege along the way, or indeed from this situation, but are you meaning to tell me you don't think that any of those guys like had any sort of helping hand from white privilege either? That argument made literally no sense, man. This whole like thing it just felt like a little bit of a, maybe like a preempt towards like a Jeffrey and Shane, like a homecoming sort of thing. Well, he's wrong, so that means they're right. That doesn't make any sense. I mean, let's just look at it like logically. They can all be wrong, and I think they are all wrong, quite frankly. You saying that white privilege bit really made me laugh, I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, huh, like, you've named like the most popular whitest YouTubers on the platform, and then you said, oh well, the reason why they're gone and he's here is because he benefits from white privilege. It's like, okay, man, when 4 out of the 6 examples that you give are white, that white privilege argument, it doesn't really hold up, does it? Because it just seemed like a bit of a desperate attempt, really. And this insistence of like keeping the same energy. He also said that no other videos are picking up on any of this. Like, his is an unpopular opinion, and that's why he loves commentary, because he's able to say exactly how it is, and his opinion is an unpopular one. Pop this on pause, open up another tab onto YouTube, type in James Charles Drama 2021, and you tell me if all of the videos, and there are reams of videos as well, there's countless videos, you tell me whether or not they're positive or framing him in a good light. I'm just going to put a few here from a screen recording I took earlier. You can see that none of them are saying, oh, leave James Charles alone, or James Charles has done nothing wrong. There's one that, I mean, Keemstar said, put him in jail for Christ's sake. There's plenty of videos that are saying that this is absolutely disgusting and absurd. So again, it's that notion that he's giving that like his is an unpopular opinion. Dustin Daly and Nick Snyder, their videos are saying exactly what he's saying, basically. It's just kind of strange to me that Rich is trying to like paint himself like he's like, you know, he's the leader of the resistance against the James Charles mob. What you got to understand is, for anyone who's watching, any of these people that we discussed earlier who are, you know, basically uncancelable, the reason why that is the case is because they have so many stands, and when you have that many stands, you can create a buffer between you and consequences, basically. And in terms of just like buffering away the people who are coming for you on Twitter, especially, your stands are going to do that work for you. And James Charles has got armies of stands, so it's not really surprising to me that you're able to find positive comments like Rich Lux did in his video, because he's got countless amounts of stands. However, I did notice that he was really using the comments from the Instagram post that James Charles made, as opposed to the ones on Twitter. If you go to the Notes app that James Charles made addressing everything, and you look through all of the comments there, you tell me if everyone's just like giving him a pat on the back and saying everything's going to be okay and don't worry about it. There's a lot of stands, but there's even more people saying that it's an outrage and how they're disgusted and that they're disappointed in him. You know, in Twitter in general, I don't know what Rich is even looking at, because that's all my feed has been. Like I said, it's quite interesting that in the video he chose to use most of the comments from the Instagram photos that James Charles posted. Now, I've spoken about this before. There's a reason why Shane Dawson is still, you know, frolicking around on Instagram as opposed to coming to Twitter. Because on Twitter, you know that if you've done something wrong, people are more than likely to hound you until they get some kind of accountability or satisfactory apology or whatever it is that they're looking to get from you. On Instagram, it's more Stan friendly. It's more like, you know, you're going to get more people just going, oh, I love you, this is the best, oh, that's such a fantastic look, and, you know, all of that kind of stuff. And I think that's something that Rich knew, and that's why he put that in his video. I mean, to me, there's sort of basic knowledge, so the fact that Rich wouldn't know that, it just seems to me like he's trying to paint a certain narrative so that, you know, if he's able to somehow smooth things over for Jeffrey's return and put like a narrative out there, so they knew all along, so they deserve to come back. James was the wrong'un all along, which I'm not saying that he wasn't. I'm just saying that I don't think it's a seesaw. I don't think one has to be wrong for the other to be right. I think you can equally be wrong in your actions, equally be wrong in, you know, how you approach things, without one coming back and the other one not. It's just a bit peculiar to me that he went down that road, really. But again, it's not really too surprising because we know that he loves Jeffree Star. It was just a weird narrative that he went down. I'm not saying the narrative in general was wrong. The way he went about the narrative was pretty weird in my view, but not overall surprising. But let me know what you think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. If you like the video, then leave a like. If you like the channel, then subscribe. Click the button for the bell. That's something that I never really say either. But so if you do that, that'll be much appreciated. And until next time, stay safe out there.